Welcome back to the Garnet Roost on the CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown, and it's Spurs Up, baby. We're going to get into my favorite part of this episode. It's my new part. I get to kind of just, you know the label, get it off my chest. First thing off, I feel like Little John. Instead of shots, it's sacks. Everybody, we can't stop a nosebleed. Jesus Christ. 2, passing game. What? Dal Loggins and Lonnie Teasdale need to figure it out fast. We have top tier talent, and we're struggling to put up 200 yards per game through the air. Hey, yo, 3 blind mice. Yeah, I'm talking to you, the refs. They need to borrow Lenore Sellers spectacles to be able to see the plays better. 2 negated pick sixes on questionable flags, a 12-point swing. Never mind the egregious roughing the passer call. Pop 4 to get off my chest before we wrap it up. New AD, Ray Tanner stepping down. What's that mean for the staff? New head coach, new OC, new DC. All I know is the seats are getting harder than they were by default. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly from this LSU game. Run like Forrest, baby. Run like Forrest. Almost 6 yards per carry as a team. Sellers and Sanders were definitely ready for takeoff. 231 yards combined, 4 total touchdowns, 2 apiece. Holy shit. I call him out. And Rocket Sanders looks like the Rocket of old, right? Especially on that 66-yard run where he flashes explosiveness. We all love to see it. This is why we brought him in. This is why we wanted him. 93 of the 143 yards he had on the day were breakaway yards. Wow. Give me more, please, and thank you. Folks, that's 65% of his runs. 65% of the runs he had were explosive. My man struggled to get the lead out of his ass last week. This week, he was back. Yo, the defense, check him for stick him, baby. Another pick. Nick friggin' Emoware. At this point, you guys are going to get tired of me saying the same damn thing. But Emoware continues to prove to me and everybody else in the country as to why he's a top 5 safety in this class. The dude can do anything. Play downhill, play the nickel, play safety, cover, got it all. Continue to watch Nick Emoware as he will be a dude you see on Sundays. Not a bad. I kind of mentioned it and get off my chest. This passing game is anemic. What? It's tough to watch, dude. 7.8 yards per attempt. We only had 155 yards total on the day. It doesn't matter who the freaking quarterback is. It could be Sellers. It could be Ashford. It doesn't matter. 3 total. 1, 2, 3 total attempts of over 20 yards. This isn't high school football. Shit, this isn't even peewee football. There's 2 sides to the offense. You can't just run the freaking ball. Look at the Patriots, for God's sakes. What is going on with Gamecocks football? This is gross. You know what else is gross? No freaking discipline. 13 penalties for 123 yards. We can't continue to beat ourselves. Whoa, what was this? I understand. Yes, there was egregious calls on the pick sixes, right? And 3 total turnovers, though, right? Lost time of possession by 5 minutes. The ship needs to tighten up ASAP. Robbie Ashford, get the butter off your damn hands and stop fumbling the ball when you get the chance to be in the game, okay? We got to fix these little things. I feel like we're like a little kid checklist. Did we put our boots in the right spot? Check. Let's get over the minutia. Let's stop playing ball. The ugly. Steph Curry from 3, baby. That seems to be the theme with this O-line. 3 more sacks allowed this week. Josiah Thompson, you look great. Week 1, you seem to fall back again this week, allowing a sack and a QB hit. Torres Simpkins, you allowed a sack as well, and you were one of the better defensive linemen we had this week. No, listen, I'm not the guy that's just going to butter him up. I'll burn him the fuck down. I don't give a shit. For all the love that I've given both Debo and Bam Martin Scott, right? They had 10 tackles and a half sack and 1.5 tackles for loss in this game. The missed tackles need to get tightened up. This unit missed 17 tackles as a unit defensively. 5 by the boys I mentioned above, right? Odell Fortune and Judge Collier, they weren't very efficient in the secondary either. They had 5 missed tackles combined. we need to wrap up and bring to the ground. 17 missed tackles is absolutely disgusting. 30+% missed tackles as a unit is absolutely disgusting. Now, the fog was out, and in the distance, I saw a light, and a bell rang, and Hobblewatch appeared. Finally, 3 targets, 2 receptions. My man, they found a position for him finally. 80% out wide. In a small, anemic passing game, he manufactured 3 targets. Whew, it's the big one, folks. They're finally starting to figure it out. Make the passing game a little better, expand it, and make him the focal point of the pass game, please. Now, it was a huge game. Game day was down there. That only means, maybe there's a chance we can bring in these future players, right? Thompson, 5-star edge, Jared Smith, who had committed to Auburn over South Carolina at the end of the summer. He was in Columbia for the game against LSU. Seemed to be pleased with what he saw. Greene County 4-star defensive lineman and Florida State commit Kevin Wine, 6'2", 320 pounds. He was considering the Gamecocks before he committed to Florida State. He was extremely impressed with the South Carolina defense and how they've done this season. He loves himself a little Stewart, and he was at the game as well. 4-star Palmetto State native, Kyle Skinner. He's a wide receiver, tight end, depending on how you want to use him. He recently backed off his Cincinnati, commitment. He was with the Gamecocks 2 weeks ago, right? Saw them playing Kentucky. Was back at Columbia this weekend. This was a big game. They played well. Yes, they caught the L, but they played well against a ranked team, right down to the wire. I've been saying it, yesterday and today. The game against, Kentucky speaks volumes now with the whole 1-point loss to Georgia. And I think they have a get-right game here. This game is at 7:30 on ESPNU against Akron. All signs point to this is the game. We're struggling on the offensive line. We're struggling trying to find a full-bodied offense. Well, here comes the Akron Zips. They're giving up 101 points combined in the last 2 games of Rutgers and Ohio State. Okay? Travion Henderson averaged 8 yards per carry versus Akron. Kyle Monagwai went for 27 attempts, 208 yards, and 3 touchdowns against Akron. Rocket Raheem Sanders should continue to roll. The Zips are averaging, giving up 175 on the ground and 2 touchdowns per game. I expect a similar outcome on the ground for both Sanders and Sellers in this one. Now, on the flip side, the Zips running game is struggling. Okay, they're putting up under 100 yards per game. Jordan Simmons has 25 attempts for 168 yards and a touchdown. That's the only touchdown this whole running game has. Outside of Simmons, they are averaging 2.8 yards per carry as a unit. I expect Stewart, Kennard, Debo, they should all eat in this contest, for lack of a better term. And I hate to say this, but it's going to be a stat pattern. I said this should be where they figure out the passing game. This is where I want to see a passing game that doesn't make me want to vomit on my feet. Okay. Akron allows 60% completion rate, over 200 yards per game, and 2 touchdowns per game. Gamecocks haven't put up any of those numbers yet at all this season. Not one freaking game. I would pray that this is that game. Now, I'm not going to take Devontae Golden Nelson for granted. He is a good DB. He has a few pass breakups this year. He should probably be following Jared Brown around unless they decide that he want to feature Nick Harbor and he covers him. Everybody else should eat in this game. I could see a short and intermediate design pass game that just takes off. I'm not going to be here and beat a dead horse. The Zips are in the bottom 100 in both offense and defense. And I know it's any given Sunday, but Saturday, but it ain't this Saturday. All right. I expect the Gamecocks to walk in and walk out with a huge victory. Give me the Gamecocks in this one. Get right game. Like I said, 42-10 for the good guys. Spurs up. I'm Nino Brown on the CFB Nation. This is the Garnet Roost, everybody. We out.